Oh, buddy. Here we are. What's up, everyone? You know, we're going to be chatting Game of Thrones, Season 8, and what the Night King's first steps will be. But before we do that, we are going to give everyone, or anyone who is watching this live, a chance to come and join us. So we're scheduled to start at 6, and as of right now, we will be starting at 6. But how are y'all doing? How are y'all hanging out there? It's been quite a while since I've done one of these streams. Well, actually, I did one last week, but I had to delete it because it wasn't monetizer friendly. Somehow cooking in your fucking kitchen isn't monetizer friendly. I feel you. Not to worry though, because this one was already deemed not monetizable before we even started. So you might have noticed that ads are no longer playing. You know, it just comes with the territory with YouTube. It's so fickle. It's so up and down. It's almost like you don't want to, you know, really put any eggs in the YouTube basket because nothing is for sure. Nothing is for certain. But until they close the curtain, it's him and not a Quimina. What y'all know about some old school Outcast? How are y'all doing? When I switch the scenes, you should be able to see the you should be able to see a different scene. But you should be able to see the chat a little bit better is what I was trying to get at there. But yeah, so let's give everyone, you know, maybe 3-4 more minutes. Maybe even up till 10. Let's say we'll start the show at 6:03. See how many people we can get up in here, and then we will begin. Go ahead and slap a like on this. Please share this. Let's see. We got shout out to Tyler Hargreaves, shout out to Gaia Shadow, Ivan Shishmanov, Alexandria Gaithier, Peter the Noble, Don't Look, What's Up, or Don't Luck, Alex Paulin, Carlos, Tom Galvin Jr., Barbara Franklin Sweet, Ryan Williams, Order of the Laughing Tree, Dragon Master, Wolfpire, Carlos, Lorraine. How are y'all doing? So let's see, we got 26 people so far. If we don't have too many people join us for this stream, this will not be a very long stream. A very long live stream is what I meant to say. But yeah, so let's give everybody a couple more minutes. Shout out to all of y'all that are already here. That's what's up. Let's see if we can break 100 people during this live stream. Can we get more than 100 people? We shouldn't have an issue doing that. I don't know where the fuck all of you guys went that used to watch these live streams, but y'all just disappeared. Kind of makes me want to put my channel in hibernation. If that is even a thing. What the hell is hibernation? For those wondering, I am here. I'm looking at the chat and setting these last couple things up. I probably won't be doing face cam for this one. Didn't have time to set up my lights. Well, I had time, but then everybody and their mama needed me to run errands right before I did this. So I guess one could say I'm not like in the best mind state to be doing this stream. But you know. For those that are just hopping in, I am here and we'll be beginning shortly. Try to give it a little bit more time for some more people to come and join us. We only got like about 30 people watching right now. Sir Hunts might be a little pissy in this stream. Got some shit going on. And YouTube is wanting to be a fucking douche on top of that, so yeah. I say I'll give it about 3 more minutes, and if we don't get any more people showing up, I'm just gonna go ahead and chill with you guys for like 30 minutes and then get back to my life. It's crazy. Out of 29,000, I gave y'all 24 hours notice. Where the hell are y'all at? That's longer than I usually give notifications for my streams. We'll see. It just hit 6 o'clock now. Let's see if we can get some more people up in here. Not that there's anything wrong with putting on a live stream for a smaller amount of people. It's just not as fun because I feel like, you know, it's more interactive and stuff. We got everyone in the chat talking and shit. The smaller live streams, I wanted to try and save and put them up on my Patreon. So those will be like Patreon-only content. It only costs $1. Alright. Let's give it a couple more minutes. Oh man. Let's go ahead and fucking start. Like I said, I'm not in the best mood, so anyone who is like making secondhand dumbass comments, they will get blocked and fucking banned immediately. Alright, so yeah, basically what I wanted to do was go through the motivations of the Night King. What is going to be his first move? What will be the first steps that he takes in order to secure, you know, the Seven Kingdoms? And just in general, what will be his first moves? So, you know, with all that aside, what I want to do first, and this is not going to be a very long live stream at all, maybe 30 minutes tops. But what I wanted to do first was basically go over, you know, the last few moments of us seeing him. If I can get this mic cable out of my way, that would be awesome. I have a lot of shit on my desk right now. Well, I was not ready for this. Alright, so yeah, so last time we saw him, he was on the back of Viserion, taking down the wall. Sorry, I was looking at something real quick. Just let me check something. Can you, is there like any kind of stutter or anything? Can you guys hear me clearly? Is there an echo or anything like that? There shouldn't be, but I'm not sure. Alright, so it looks like the stream health is good. I think it should be clear. I'm looking at the chat now to see if there's a... See if anybody's typing. Alright, Peter says it's clear. Alright, cool. Awesome. So yeah, the last time we saw this dude, he was on the back of Viserion, and he was taking down the wall. The next step, you know, realistically, would be to go straight to Winterfell, to kind of skip over the little smaller kingdoms. You know, any kingdoms that are further north in Winterfell, would be like the Last Hearth and places like that. Ideally, you should skip over those. Go straight to Winterfell, because you know that's like a hub of the north. You know, it's where there will be a lot of people at. So it'd be easy to take that out. The smaller places would fall. So I see this dude, you know, if I was the Night King, my very next step would be marching straight to Winterfell. You know, he does know that Jon and Daenerys are potentially heading there. Like, I honestly thought the whole setup, you know, the whole getting a dragon, the episode 9, basically Beyond the Wall, that whole thing was a giant setup in order for him to just get a dragon. So if he knows that, you know, it would only make sense that he also is aware of what their next steps may be. You know, it's almost like he's a few steps ahead of them. My mind is not in Game of Thrones right now. You know what? Let's not even fucking... Let's just take questions. I'll go back. I saw a couple up here. I'll just take questions for a couple minutes. Q&A. Off chance, do you think there could be any way they would come out with another season of Game of Thrones? Probably not. I would imagine, you know, this iteration of the television show, this season coming up, season 8, is going to be the last one. There's really no other way to get another season out of it. You'd have to stretch it out even further. And honestly, you know, it's hard for me to believe that they're going to be able to close out all these storylines in this season, but it's pretty much a guarantee that this iteration of the show is it. I don't think we'll be getting like a season 9 or something. Alright, so yeah, start sending in those questions, please. Q&A, is the Night King a green seer? Yes. Yes, he is. He's a more advanced version of it, whereas he's a necromancer. But it's all down that same alleyway. I've actually done a video called "Is the Night King a Warg?" And it's like basically I go into that. I think I did that before season 7 even came out, but I basically go in depth on my thoughts of like how he's able to control all of these undead creatures, and he uses a hive mind, and the White Walkers help him do that. But yeah, he's definitely some form of a green seer, like a super advanced version. do you think in season 8 they will do good with finishing the cursed story, or the Cersei story, or do you think they'll carry it on like a game or a book? What do you mean, Cersei storyline? I definitely think all of the major character storylines will be kind of resolved. You know, and I hesitate when I say kind of resolved because there's always going to be some questions. There's always going to be something left up in the air. But I honestly think that all of the major 5 characters being Daenerys, Jon Snow, Cersei, Tyrion, and Jaime. Obviously, you can argue that Sansa, Bran, and Arya are also main tier. But those 5 that I listed, I think all 5 of them, their characters will be... Their plot lines will be pretty much resolved. There may be a question of as if, you know, what they may do next, or, you know, something they don't show us on screen. But I think for the most part, we'll be able to tell, like, we'll know for sure whether they're alive or they're dead. In that, you know, that grand aspect. Q&A, do you think the Night King is going to go to the Isle of Faces to kill Children of the Forest? All the Children of the Forest in the television show are dead. That's a possibility in the books. Q&A, will we see the giant Macumber? Probably not. I know a lot of people are a big fan of the theory that it's all taking place inside his blue eye, but I don't think that's the case. I do think that it's a really fun theory, and I think they might, you know, they might pay respect to it some way. They might, like, I think their way of doing that was by showing, you remember at the beginning of the season, we never saw the white giants. I'm not sure why the Night King wasn't using them at the lake, but we never saw them again. I'm pretty sure that one shot where they pan out and they show that giant's blue eye, I think that's like paying homage to that. It's not really a theory. It's just something Old Nan says, but I definitely don't think that that's the case. I do think it's fun to pretend, though. It's almost like in Men in Black. You remember in the very first Men in Black when they zoom all the way out of that locker and they go like super far out, and you could see that they're just like a marble inside of a giant alien's like bag, basically, and Earth is a galaxy inside that. Like, so kind of be something like that. I just don't see that necessarily happening on the show. Q&A, will with white giants and an ice dragon, how could Winterfell not fall? Oh no, it definitely will. Winterfell is definitely going to fall. Winter will fall there. Actually, sorry, winter will rise there this time, because Winterfell got its name from, that was the last place that the last battle, the last long night took place, and where they finally were able to defeat the undead, took place at Winterfell, because it was the place where the long night fell, where winter fell. So I think it'd be ironic this time if that's one of the first places he hits and it falls, and they just barely make it out of there with their lives. Q&A, do you think we'll see elephant whites from the Golden Company? Probably not. I do know that the elephants ride, the Golden Company are said to ride elephants in the novels, but I don't think that they're going to have undead elephants. Are you just saying, are they going to bring elephants into the fray? They could. Q&A, how do you think the battle between the Hound and the Mountain will go down? Hopefully we get to see that. If we don't, I think there's going to be pretty some pissed off people. I don't know. I mean, I guess it could go down if the Hound is present during maybe some more meetings with Cersei. Is like, because we do know that Frankenmountain is going to be by Cersei's side. Like, there's not getting any away from that. Like, he's going to be near her at all times, especially in the last season. So she's pretty much untouchable for right now. Because honestly, no one on the show who's alive right now can take out Frankenmountain. And if they wanted to write it that way, they obviously could. But the way that we've been led to believe how strong this guy is and how much damage he can take, no one alive right now can take him out. Maybe the Night King, but he's not really alive. It can be argued that he's undead. So yeah, maybe if Cersei is just still like causing issues for Dany and Jon, maybe Sandor is sent with Arya and maybe a few others to go and take them out, and Sandor, you know, wants to jump at the opportunity to kill his brother, and Arya wants to jump at the opportunity to kill Cersei. So that could go down that way. Let's see, I fell behind on some of these Q&As. Q&A, do you think the current show is going to introduce Lightbringer, and will that be how the Night King will die? I think the Night King is going to die of a combination of Bran attacking him in the Weirwood net and Jon Snow attacking him in the physical realm. Bran will likely, die sacrificing himself, killing the Night King. We all can see that it's going that way. It's like a million people online have that theory. But I think Bran, with him having his hands tied, not even tied, he just wasn't participating in Beyond the Wall. I think the next time we see them face off against the Night King, it's going to be one of those last battles, and I think Bran will have, will get his hands dirty finally. As far as Lightbringer, I think Lightbringer has already been brought into the show. It's Daenerys' dragons. Daenerys is Azor Ahai. Jon Snow is Azor Ahai as well, but the dragons are Lightbringer. Fire incarnate. Q&A. Do you remember when the witch said Cersei will be killed by her younger brother? I think Jaime will kill her because technically he is younger. What do you think? Well, yeah, both of her brothers are younger than her, but that part was left out of the television show. That part of the Valonqar theory where you will be strangled by the hands of your younger brother, that wasn't ever mentioned on the TV show. Now, they could have left it out because they're not going to go that route. Like, I honestly think Cersei will be one of the last people left alive. They could have left it out because they don't want to go that route, but they could have also left it out because they wanted it to be a surprise when it happens. Q&A, was that snow or ash falling in Daenerys' vision of the Red Keep throne room? So you're talking about Dany's House of the Undying visions? I mean, it could be argued that it was ash because the roof had like holes in it and there was a lot of shit that looked burned. But it could also be argued that it was winter. And, it was trying to show Daenerys early on that unless she stops the winter, unless she stops the long night, the Iron Throne is going to mean nothing. So it's basically like she saw the throne room in shambles. There was holes all in the roof. Everything looked burned, and it appeared to be ash or snow falling from the sky. It just depends on how you want to interpret it. Honestly, I'd lean more towards ash, just for the simple fact that it could be showing her also that she's going to have to burn down the kingdom in order to save the kingdom or to rescue it. So it's almost like, is it even worth it at that point? Or it could also be argued that it's snow, just for the simple fact that we know winter's coming, and it was trying to tell her, her visions were trying to tell her she needs to get north of the wall to stop winter before that happens. So that she could actually be seeing like some of the final moments of the television show, and it's like, yeah, they finally stopped the Night King, but over half of Westeros is destroyed, and 90% of the people that were living in it are now dead. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. It could be interpreted many different ways. Excuse me as I take a drink of my Mountain Dew. Q&A. In the first season, shit, what the hell just happened? It just jumped down. Hang on 1 second, sorry. Q&A. In the first season of the show, someone said the Whites were just sleeping since the last time they attacked. Do you think that's true, or is there another theory? I don't think they were sleeping. They were definitely inactive. What could have been is they could have gotten destroyed up until maybe they only had a few, maybe like 10 or 15 of them left, and then, they retreated north of the wall, and they were rebuilding their forces slowly. Like, I know you could argue that, well, they would have finished rebuilding their forces like 1,000 years ago, but if there's only wildlings going beyond the wall, that's the chances of them. Maybe it's like the Night King couldn't start officially rebuilding his army until he had the right number of White Walkers, which is why you have Craster sacrificing children and giving him those White Walkers. And then once he has that certain amount of White Walkers, he's actually able to start taking on like a massive army, getting it big enough to take on Westeros. We're not really sure what their motivations are because that hasn't been made known to us, not only in the television show, but also in the novels. In the novels, most people think they're just rumors. Picking back up. Q&A, do you think Arya could be the one to kill Cersei since Jaime left? If she took Qyburn's face, then the mountain wouldn't attack her. Sorry, I didn't understand that question. Yeah, I definitely think Arya is going to have a hand in killing Cersei. If Cersei is actually killed, I definitely think Arya is going to have, you know, something to do with that. I've been a huge fan of the theory that Arya would use Jaime's face to do it. And since Jaime's gone, now Arya has the chance to do that if she were to kill Jaime and take his face. I know a lot of people say that someone doesn't necessarily have to be dead, but I think for the most part, that's what they're leaning towards on the show. It's like, you know, there's a little bit of things that are left open for interpretation, and sometimes people interpret those the wrong way. I think it showed that Jaqen, you know, obviously Jaqen wasn't dead, and then he also had Arya's face, and that's where most people get that from, is like he was wearing Arya's face. Well, maybe he's like a special faceless man, and he was, you know, obviously Arya had just ingested poison, so that could have been making her hallucinate, and she saw certain things that weren't actually there. I mean, I don't know. I think for the most part, someone has to be dead in order to take their face. So I definitely could see Arya using Jaime's face, maybe even Qyburn's. Q&A, do you think Clegane Bowl will end in a fire death? I think Clegane Bowl will likely end with both of the Hound brothers being down. Both of the Clegane brothers, rather, being down. Main reason being because, like, the Hound started to get this redemption arc where he's like, I want to stay away from violence. I don't want to do all these negative things. I don't want to live the same way I was before. And then he loses everyone that, you know, helped save him and bring him back around and make him a person again. He loses all of them, and then he goes back to square one. So I feel like that's a giant circle. It's like he made all this progress and turned into a different person, wanted to do all these different things, wanted to get away from, you know, like obsessing over getting revenge and all this shit. And then it'll be finally the thing that kills him. So maybe he dies in that fight. The same way Oberyn in the Mountain, the last person that fought the Mountain, they both almost ended up dying. The Mountain would have been dead if he hadn't have had blood transfusions from Qyburn. So to answer your question, yes, I think both of them. I don't think that there'll be fire involved, but I definitely think that both of them will be dying. Do you think Dany is going to have twins in Jaime's lives? And Jaime lives to take care of them? I don't see Jaime surviving. I see, you know, like, very similar to how Jaime feels in the books, is like his fate is intertwined with Cersei. I guess if Cersei lives, then maybe Jaime has a chance of living, but honestly, I think out of both of those two, they both are most likely going to be dead. Or if one of them survives, it will likely be Cersei, just because that's, like, you know, the bittersweet ending. Q&A, do you think, or sorry, Q&A, could the Night King take out King's Landing with his dragon before hitting Winterfell? So he flies past Winterfell, goes all the way down south, and he could. I don't know what would be the point of that. Q&A, will Jaime make it to Winterfell to tell of Cersei's deception, or will she somehow have him stopped? No, I think he's going to make it there. I think she's definitely going to try to get him to, like, maybe... She honestly probably doesn't even care, because at that point it's too late. She knows where their efforts are going to be focused. Whether she sends troops up there or not, she knows that they're still going to be fighting the Night King. So I don't really think that it matters. You know, that he knows that. I think if anything, if she was going to try to stop him, it would have been when he was still in the city. She let him get on his horse and ride all the way out of the city. You know what I mean? I feel like she could definitely stop him, but I just feel like it would be a hole in the writing, because they could have had that done, like they could have snuffed that out before he even walked past the Mountain. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think he's definitely gonna deliver that news to Jon Snow and company. Q&A, how do you think Melisandre will die? She's definitely going to die in Westeros. She will likely die from being overrun by White Walkers, or maybe even Arya Stark. Will she have still a strong part to play? I don't know. You know, once more these filming spoilers leak, where they know which actors have been spotted on the set and which filming location they were used on, once more that information comes out, then I can make predictions like that. But honestly, for the most part, I think Melisandre will be dying relatively early on, after she does one last thing of importance. Like, we'll probably see her get to Essos, and then we'll probably see her back in Westeros. But she's gonna die in a strange land, so she has to die in Westeros. Maybe by the hands of Arya Stark. Q&A, do you think the use of southern magic dragons brought Night King back into the fray? I think the Night King is back because he like, I think he initially started like getting pissed off and wanting to march south of the wall because he stopped getting Craster's children, and he could literally be doing this entire thing just to get back baby Sam, because he can't procreate naturally, so he's undead, and he can't, like, maybe he can't rest unless he has a certain amount of White Walkers, unless he has every son of Craster's that was promised to him. So Craster's last son is baby Sam. That could be the motivation. I do think that would be pretty silly, but I definitely also think that it's that comet that introduced Dany's dragons into the world and magic being brought back. I definitely think it's all intertwined. I just don't know if it's like the fact that Dany had dragons and that's what made him start stirring. I think it was more of like he knew that the time was coming. He knows that his army was almost ready to go and take back the Seven Kingdoms or take the Seven Kingdoms, whichever way you want to put it. Looking for another question. Q&A, how will they feed all of the Dothraki horses? That's a good question. I don't even know. I don't even think that'll be addressed on the show. I feel like that should have been addressed. The fact that Daenerys burned half of the kingdom's crops, but they didn't. They never even mentioned it or brought it up or anything like that. So I don't know if starvation, I feel like there's not enough time to like sit around and chill to have to worry about food. Like, that's something that should be addressed after they take care of the Night King, because he's officially in Westeros. Now with 6 episodes, they could probably stretch it out to like halfway through episode 2 or 3 before we show him like attacking somewhere else in Westeros. But I feel like he's going to be moving pretty quickly. So the whole food rations and starvation and stuff, that's going to be something that will be addressed after that. Q&A, how much time is there going to be in Westeros between seasons? If there will... Shit. Hang on. If there will be, do you think they will have enough time to hatch the supposed dragon eggs below Winterfell? No. Lady Alysanne Targaryen supposedly left the clutch of dragon eggs underneath Winterfell. I don't think that's true for the TV show. They haven't even mentioned who Alysanne Targaryen was. Or Old Nan. It would have been perfect to have Old Nan mention something like that. Or maybe Bran sees a vision where he sees like this silver-haired woman putting dragon eggs in the Winterfell crypts. But I don't think that's going to be brought up on the show. And as far as how much time passing between like this season and the last, I think it's going to pick up right where it left off. Like exactly with the wall falling, that's most likely where this next season will pick up. The reason being is because it's like there will be some time that passes, like maybe in the first episode. The first couple minutes are going to be, I feel like, picking right where season 7 left off. And then, we'll have a little bit of more time pass in that episode. And then maybe we'll get a time jump in that actual episode where like maybe a few weeks or a week passes. But I don't think there's going to be like any sort of major time jumps. But I think that season 8 will pick up right where season 7 left off. And maybe there's a time skip in that episode. Q&A, could prophecy be fulfilled by killing undead? Say Arya kills Cersei, but Jaime kills undead Cersei. I don't know. Prophecy isn't gonna be all it's cracked up to be. Like, I don't like that's George's whole point with his novels. Is like sometimes you don't live up to everything that's expected of you. Sometimes like the human condition. You know what I mean? Like there's always gonna be some error, or there's always gonna be something you think you're supposed to do, and that there's this greatness that you're supposed to live up to, but really 9 times out of 10. That shit doesn't happen. Or when it does, it doesn't happen how everyone thinks it's going to happen, like prophesized. Like, for instance, Rhaegar probably thought his son... Excuse me, I got a cough. Like, Rhaegar was like, okay, my son's going to grow up and he's going to do this and it's going to work out this, but none of that turned out the way he planned it to because he died bleeding in a river. You know what I mean? Like, or at the Trident or whatever. So it's not... Nothing is guaranteed in life, and I think that's a big deal with these prophecies. Is we have all these expectations of Azor Ahai to be this person with the flaming sword, and he's gonna, you know, he's gonna do this and he's gonna do that, and he's gonna lead all these people. Well, really, it's not. Azor Ahai is split up between 4 to 5 different people who all kind of fit that role, but they're all working together in a common goal to make for you know, prevention of the long night. So nothing is how you expect it to be. If anything in life is guaranteed, is that you will live and that you will die. Everything else that makes up that journey between is kind of left up to yourself and Mother Nature. Q&A. I'm not sure if I missed any, but I'm just gonna read this one. Q&A: will we ever get an explanation of the irregular season links? What will that have anything to do with the... I don't even understand the question. I mean, the last 2 seasons, or 13 episodes total, was because there's only supposed to be 1 season. Like, season 7 was supposed to be the last episode. So there were technically only supposed to be 3... There was only supposed to be 10 episodes in season 7, and that was going to be it. But there's 3 more episodes they added on. So it got split into 2 half seasons. I don't think that's going to be addressed on a television show, if that's what your question was. Q&A: if the White Walkers were originally created to drive out the First Men from Westeros, are they just fulfilling their purpose? I don't think that's how it worked. I think it was more like the first Azor Ahai, like for the television show. Now, this is not for the books, but for the television show, the first Azor Ahai basically went to the Chosen of the Forest to seek help in order to fight the Andals, because there was like this big war between the First Men and the Andals. So for some reason, the original First Men thought it would be a good idea to go to one of their greatest enemies, who they had this pact with, or at least this like truce somewhat. He thought it would be a good idea to go to them and ask them for help, and they obviously turned against him, turned him into a White Walker, the very thing that he was, you know, fighting. And it was sort of like that. Like, it's I don't know. I mean, there's so many questions left up. I do think, you know, that if the White Walkers were created to, you know, help the Children of the Forest fight the First Men, that would be pretty ironic if they come back and they're killed. I mean, there's so many questions about that. Hopefully that didn't space out too much. Do you think the Stark line is going to die with Bran when he dies? No. Technically, it would when Jon Snow dies, but because Bran is already can't have kids, so he couldn't carry on the name. Like, we assume that since he's paralyzed and can't walk, that, you know, those parts down there don't work, so he can't procreate. So it would die with Jon Snow if Jon Snow died. But honestly, like, at this point, you know, we have these like northern ladies being trained, and they're going to be fighting on the battlefield. I don't really think there's no reason why Sansa can't keep her last name, say she were to marry someone, and then, you know, her kids have the last name Stark to carry on for House Stark, or Arya's kids for that matter. I think I see something like that happening if Sansa is able to survive. Q&A: what's your take on Rhaegar being Jack and Hagar? I think that's a joke. There's no clout to it at all. I think there's a little bit more to the theory that Rhaegar is secretly Mance Rayder than there is for Rhaegar being Jack and Hagar. Honestly, I like to think that Ned Stark is Jack and Hagar. Oh shit, we got a super chat from Freddie Wicks. Thank you, sir. Thank you, appreciate that. Really do. He says, what other shows / movies besides Star Wars, of course, if any, can we expect vid / stream from? And he says, Grow the Hunt. Well, I'm actually still wearing my Star Wars shirt. I wore it yesterday, but it wasn't really dirty, so when I got off, I put it back on. God, I don't even want to open up that box of worms about fucking Chipotle. Let's see, other types of content. I would say, you know, we have Stranger Things starting in a few weeks. The Walking Dead premieres in about a week. I might, depending on how good that season premiere is, I might do some live streams. or some live after shows on The Walking Dead. It just depends, because like I said, I finished watching last season, but it was fucking hard for me to get through. And I haven't even watched more than 3. Like, we were talking about this actually in our Facebook group, Fred. But, you know, I watched Fear the Walking Dead. I just couldn't, like, it was good. It was actually better than the end of Walking Dead last season, but I don't know, I just couldn't get into it. And it was like right when I started making a shit ton of videos for Game of Thrones, because we were only a few months before Game of Thrones started, because I think Fear the Walking Dead started back in April. So for sure, the new Star Wars movie comes out at the end of this year. I fucking dream about making new Star Wars videos. I've done a few of those back when I first started my channel in 2016. I did a few Star Wars videos. So yeah, of course, Star Wars. You know, we have The Walking Dead picking up. We also have Stranger Things, and then Westworld. That's going to be a major one. That'll be next year. Hopefully we get it early next year. You know, and there's also like some of my favorite comedy shows, like It's Always Sunny, Friends. I know Friends is like obscure and it's like 90s and it's been off for a while now, since 2004 actually, but it's still one of my favorite TV shows. Obviously The Office. I probably watch The Office and It's Always Sunny literally every day, almost, if not more, than I watch Game of Thrones. Alright, so hopefully that answered your questions. I see that we got a few more questions here. See, Q&A, is there any chance we will see a love scene in Season 8? Brienne and Jaime, maybe? Well, we'll definitely see Jon and Daenerys hooking up again, I'm quite sure of that. We might even see Tyrion and Sansa hooking up. Some really pervy dude commented on one of my videos before. And if you're watching right now, and I'm forgetting your username, and you're watching right now, and I'm about to offend you, I'm sorry, but it was fucking funny. They were like, it was funny, like I was laughing, but it was still pervy, because they were like, oh man, I hope we get to see Sansa's tits this season. Like, what? What? So, I mean, okay. Like, I don't know. It was such a random comment. It was really funny though. But yeah, I definitely think that we'll get to see Brienne and Jaime. Maybe, if not hook up, maybe they'll kiss or something. You know, I think they're gonna allude to the fact, or maybe they're about to hook up, but then it gets, you know, maybe Euron shows up. You remember he was doing that? He did that with Yara last season. He basically, right when Yara was about to get some ass, he rams their ship. He's like, oh no, not today. So yeah, I don't know. We could have something like that. Q&A, have you ever thought about making a video explaining how to create a YouTube channel? I should have read that. I was trying to only get questions related to Game of Thrones. No, I mean, I have before. I've thought about doing a video where to show people how I make my thumbnails, because a lot of people love my thumbnails on YouTube, and I know that a lot of like, you know, they're really, that's what part of my success is like how good some of my thumbnails look. But you know, as far as like how to make a YouTube video a video on how I make YouTube videos, I mean, I never really thought about it, but I guess I could. You know, there's always a chance. Q&A, is there any record of the children in Essos? I mean, Azor Ahai is in a legend from Essos, correct? Well, they have Hercule the Hero over there in Yentar the Great. There's different names, but he's not known as Azor Ahai. He's known as Azor Ahai in Volantis. And if I'm not mistaken, the prophecy is Valyrian. So in parts of Essos, he's known as that. But for the most parts, like some of the undiscovered or / undiscussed parts of Essos, he's known by different names. Hercule the Hero, Yentar the Great. Those are a few of those. But I don't think there's a record of the Children of the Forest in Essos. I don't know about that. I know that there's records of, like, you know, there's accounts of White Walkers over there, but I don't know if there's any Children of the Forest over that way. Q&A, is there a chance we'll see the Sword Dawn in Season 8? Probably not, unless there's another flashback to the Tower of Joy. You know, supposedly Ned took it back to Starfall, and it's there with the Danes. But and that's the, you know, that's a house in Westeros. I mean, I'm trying to think. It's like, if you look at it very loosely, you could say that Jon was born under that sword, and that was like the bleeding star that was needed in order to make him, you know, Azor Ahai. I don't know. I mean, it's technically it's not even Valyrian steel. It's a meteorite blade. And its properties, like the show, really fucking ruined that shit. It's supposed to be like a glowing magical white sword, but the problem with that is that on the TV show it looks like just like a regular old Valyrian steel sword. So I don't even know, you know, if it has those magical properties that it's said to have in the novels. Most likely it probably doesn't. But you know, there is the chance that I guess we could see it again. I just don't know what would be the purpose of that, you know, because it's like we already have Valyrian steel swords. Jon's already got a Valyrian steel sword, so unless somehow his shatters, there'd be no reason to really bring it into play. I guess if you wanted to arm someone else with it, you know, like maybe you could arm Arya with a full-on Valyrian steel sword. Like she already has the dagger, but I feel like it would be smarter to give her a sword just to put a little bit of distance between her and whoever she's trying to kill. Let's see, Q&A, do you think Season 8 will bring up Brienne's Targaryen blood because she is potentially the 4th in line for the Iron Throne? No, no, she's not. Brienne of Tarth is secretly related to Sir Duncan the Tall, but he never... I mean, I guess some people think that Duncan the Tall hooked up with Old Nan, and that's why Hodor is so tall. I'm sure Sir Duncan the Tall took a few wives, but you know, I definitely don't think Brienne is a secret Targaryen. If Brienne's a secret Targaryen, then everyone better be a secret Tar, because that's like what they're leaning on. Like everyone's secretly related to each other. Sorry, trying to catch back up to where I left off with that last question. Q&A, for my question earlier, I meant seasons as in summer and winter, not television seasons. With the... Oh, so you mean like if Westeros is experiencing a nuclear winter, like why the hell are their seasons, like their summer 6 years and then their winters like 3 or 10 or 15 or 20? Yeah, I don't know. I think the main reason, like, you know, why that is on the show is because they're magically related. So it's like when you have a really long winter, you know, that's because magic is involved in it. Like normally they could be like, maybe they're just like, other than the far north, like maybe they're meant to only experience I mean, I don't know. Maybe they just, because you know, like there's certain places like on Alaska, there's 6 months out of the year where the sun never goes down all the way. So maybe Westeros is like in a place like that where it's like in the part of the world they're in, you know, there could be other parts of the world they just haven't discovered yet, you know, west of Westeros kind of shit, or west of Lonely Light rather. But they could just be in a place where they are, you know, mostly tropical environment, and then, you know, magic comes into play and it affects them and makes them have really long winters. I don't know if that will be addressed by the end of the TV show, or like if it will be full out explained. In fact, I actually think it won't be, just because they want to leave that as another mystery for us. Oh shit, we got a super chat from the boy Fred Wicks. He said, "Don't read aloud, just my opinion." Oh, thank you for that. And I agree with you. Chipotle up, it's stupid. But yeah, thank you for that, Mr. Fred Wicks. Thank you, sir. Where was the question? Do you think Drogon and Rhaegal will lay eggs? Maybe after we get to a part where it's like, if they survive fighting the you know, the Night King and Jon Snow and Daenerys' Targaryen children, you know, we want them to have dragons, and it's sort of like almost like fan fiction, kind of, where it's like their kids will have dragons, their kids will grow up with dragons, you know, like how Targaryens of old used to do. I don't know if those two, because like dragons can technically have sex with themselves to create, like they're asexual, they're not male nor female, so they can be either or. They can change their sex depending on how they need it. I don't know if that, I mean, I guess they could. I feel like if one of them survives the events of the Long Night, like the events of this great war for the Dawn, and you know there's some Targaryen kids, maybe they would feel the need to want to create, you know, dragons technically, we don't really know how long they can live. They can live for an extremely long time and they never stop growing. So maybe if there's a need for like more dragons, for more Targaryens to ride more dragons, maybe one of the ones that's left over, whether it's Drogon or Rhaegal, maybe one of them decides they want to have kids. And this kind of relates to something I saw a comment a few weeks ago. Someone had commented on one of the videos and said, do I think that it's possible to reverse the effects of what's been done to Viserion, like basically to bring him back, almost like how Jon Snow and Beric Dondarrion are brought back with using the Lord of Light. Is basically like you can bring Viserion back to being like how he was before. I don't think that's the case. I think the main difference there is like Beric had just died, and then Thoros immediately started praying over him, and Jon Snow had pretty much just died, and he was put on ice, like he was frozen. And then he was prayed over. He wasn't brought back by the Night King, killed, and then brought back. You know, I don't know. I think that kind of stretches it a little bit there. Q&A, will we see Cersei finally die? Probably not. I think she's going to be one of the last people alive. Q&A, couldn't Daenerys use her dragons to burn Euron's fleet, carrying the Golden Company across the Narrow Sea if Jaime relays info, eliminating the threat? Yes, but the problem with that would be everything would go too smoothly. Like, there wouldn't be enough problems in the story. You know what I mean? Like, that would just be too perfect in order for Jaime to get there fast enough. I feel like I don't know. I feel like if they were gonna, I don't know. I just feel like that's too perfect. That would be a dank ass plan. Like, as soon as he gets there, he's like, hey, look, by the way, not only is Cersei gonna backstab you, but she's also got reinforcements coming to help backstab you, you know, across the Narrow Sea. And then Dany just flies straight out and she's like, I'm fucking done with this, and she just kills the hell out of Cersei. That would be dope, but I don't know. Oh shit, we just got a super chat from Fred Wicks. Thank you, sir. He says, please check out Sir Hunt's Patreon tiers support. Hell yeah. So basically what's going on here, and I'll just run down through this briefly because I know you guys don't want to hear about this, but I am currently about to be doing like hardly no, I don't have a job. Like, I'm just gonna come flat out and say it. I do not have a job anymore. So for the time being, for like the next month, you know, I do have a little bit of money saved up, but for this next month, I'm gonna try to give YouTube a shot full out, where this will be my only source of income. So when YouTube does dumb shit where they're like, hey man, we know you just got fired, we're also going to demonetize your live stream before you even start. And then also, if you have any demonetized video, like basically YouTube is pooping on me. So, you know, what Fred was talking about, my Patreon, it's linked down below in the description. Things like that, you can just kick like $1, $2, $3, whatever, in towards a greater sum. It just helps me out. You know what I mean? Like I said, for the next foreseeable future, my main source of income is going to be this. So yeah. Let's see. Thank you for that super chat, sir. Sorry. Let me pick up on a question here. Q&A. This is from Andy Perkins. Shout out, bro. Ain't seen you here in a while. Well, that's probably because I haven't been doing live streams. He says, Q&A. Will we see Jon Connington next season? Probably not. Man, I would have loved to have seen, like, you know, basically Jorah has his story arc. Jon Connington. Okay, so there's this character in the books. His name is Aegon, right? We all call him Fagon. Supposedly, when the Mountain came into King's Landing and raped / murdered Elia Martell, Oberyn Martell's sister, and Rhaegar's wife, he supposedly dashed Rhaegar's baby son up against the wall. He threw his head up against the wall and killed him right then and there. Now, in the novels, supposedly this character was snucken out of the Red Keep by Varys and was given to Illyrio Mopatis, and Illyrio Mopatis like basically had Jon Connington, who's Rhaegar's best friend, raise him. So the question was, are we going to see Jon Connington? And I feel like if it's like in the novels, Jon Connington actually has grayscale, and he's in Westeros right now with the Golden Company fighting for Aegon. So if that was going to be the case, it's kind of like because of that, like, we kind of think that Jon Snow's name is not going to be Aegon in the books, because why the fuck would Rhaegar name 2 of his sons Aegon? You know what I mean? So there's a little bit of like stepping on toes kind of shit there. I think Jaehaerys or Aemon would have been the best name for Jon Snow. But anyway, you know, in the books, this dude Aegon is attacking Westeros, and his buddy, or his like father figure, Jon Connington, he has grayscale, and basically Andy's question was, will we be seeing him? And I had gotten sidetracked like that, because basically Jorah has that character arc where he has grayscale, and Jorah, I guess, doesn't have it anymore. He kind of, what is it, he basically, I mean, I guess he got it cured. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's gonna come back to bite Sam in the ass. I feel like Sam's gonna get grayscale and it's gonna suck when everyone's like, oh, we got Sam's role figured out, we know Sam's the narrator. That's like one of the most popular theories with Sam. I did a video on that shit last June, or like July, whenever season 6 ended last year. That was like one of my first videos post season. So that's a really popular theory. Would it not be hilarious if it just smacks us all in the face and like Sam ends up dying from grayscale because he kept rubbing his fucking mouth after he was curing Jorah? Oh man, that would be hilarious. And then he shook his hand. Like there's no getting around that. You shook his hand, bro. But yeah, anyway. Oh shit. We have a super chat from Chris Fellows. Hi, big baller there. Thank you, sir. He says, do you recall anybody in the show talking about a winter before? And not Old Nan, but in the books. Isn't been 8 years? Huh? To answer your first question, if I recall anyone in the show talking about winter before, Tyrion mentions it when he is at Castle Black. Like basically when he's talking with Maester Aemon. Maester Aemon asks him, it says, you know, Lannister or young Lord Lannister, whatever the fuck. He basically says, have you experienced any winters? And then Tyrion tells him, like, you know, I had a winter when I was younger. So that's kind of been the only other time. And then the second part of your question was, so you're saying that it's been 8 years since winter in the books, like just referring to that. The only person I can recall talking about the length of winters on the TV show are Aemon and Tyrion in that one specific scene, and that's the only one that I can remember, because I remember I used that for a video that I have coming up. I just recently used that as a visual aid in an upcoming video. But thank you for that, Chris. Really do appreciate that. That's awesome. Let's see. Q&A. Is Ironborn Queen, is Yara dead? I'm in class right now. Can't look up the names. No worry. Yara, is she dead? I think she's getting raped. I know that's fucked up, but that's kind of what Euron does. He's a rapist. And he may have even cut out her tongue so that she can't speak. I definitely think we're going to be seeing early on, we're going to be seeing a Theon arc, or a Theon like story. I don't even want to call it an arc because it'll probably take place over one episode, but he's basically going to go try to rescue her, and that's when we'll find out that she's had her tongue ripped out, or, you know, that basically there's no point in saving her, and Theon will still try to do that, but it will be pointless. She'll die anyway, and then he'll end up killing Euron. I would love to see Theon be the one who takes out Euron. Like, I know it's not likely. Euron is an amazing fighter. I'm sure Euron, you know, with him being as experienced and been traveled all over the world and how much of a learned man he is, I'm pretty sure that Theon has no fucking chance in hell, other than the fact that Theon has plot armor, which 90% of the time is more important and thicker than any other kind of armor on the planet or in this story. I gotta stop drinking this Mountain Dew. It's making me have to pee. Alright, so we've been doing this for like an hour now. That's what's up. We'll get some more questions popping off here. Q&A, do you think there is dragons in Ahai? I mean, I think there used to be at one point. There could be, you know, supposedly that's where dragons hailed from, or from the shores of Ahai. I don't know if I don't know if I would love to see that place, but I doubt. Yo, what if Melisandre went there? I feel like she would have said that. She said she was going to Volantis. So I don't know. To answer your question, yes, at one point I do think that there were dragons in Ahai. And I see there are a few people arguing about the the last winter from the books. I'm not sure. And I don't even have the ability to look it up right now, because for one, my phone is dead, and then for two, I can't X out of this the OBS, because if I do, it'll probably make the stream start skipping. Let's see. Did you see the article about the interview with the actor playing Samuel Tarly? He said every episode will be monumental. I skimmed over that article. I didn't actually read it all right. Main reason being is because they always say that. You remember they said that last year. They said that last year before season 7 started. They were like, "Hey, this season is gonna be insane. Everything breakneck speed." And yes, it was for the most part. But when they overhype shit like that, it puts all these false expectations in my head, and then sometimes I get disappointed. But no, I did not. I skimmed over that article. Was there anything of significance in it? Like, did he mention anything that was juicy, or was he just saying, "Hey, it's gonna be great"? They probably, what that confirms is that they've all gotten their scripts. So, you know, with them getting their scripts, they can probably read it over and see what their character does. And monumental to him may mean that he doesn't die. So maybe he could have just like inadvertently spoiled us into realizing that he's not going to die. I mean, we already kind of know he's the Sam the narrator. You know what I mean? He's the one telling the story, most likely to Jon and Daenerys' kids. Let's see. Hello from England. Hello, Dean. How's it going? Q&A, will Ghost sense Jon's baby and become protective of Dany? Oh, I like that. I don't think the baby could have, like, you know, conceived. Obviously, some people believe that, you know, it's birthed since conception, and then some people think that it takes until they're like in their fourth quarter or trimester. I don't know how pregnancy works. I'm not the best person with that, but a lot of people think that they aren't aware of themselves as being human beings until like much later in pregnancy. So I don't know. I will say that I'm not going to say my opinion on that, but what I will say is I don't know if one episode is enough for Ghost to be able to sense something like that. If anything, he could sense Daenerys' energy, realize that she is not a threat, and be nice to her that way, the same way Drogon did with Jon. You remember when Jon, you know, walks up terrified, scared shitless, and then Drogon's like, "Nah, you're cool, bro." Like, I can't believe there were people that argued with me in my comment section saying that he's not fear. One guy actually had the balls to say, "You're an idiot. You don't know what fear looks like." And then called me a beta male. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, go fuck yourself, first of all. Fucking beta male. Come on, man. Like, what are you like 5 years old? Like, who the fuck says that? That's such a corny turn of phrase. I hate that shit. So corny. But anyway, and then saying like I've never seen fear, but no, I have. I really have. Like, I was, you know, I've had some situations in my life where, yeah, you know, fear is a real fucking thing. That's how I was able to spot it. And that look on Jon Snow's face the whole fucking time with that dragon scene was pure fear. There was nothing other than unadulterated fear in those moments. Like, yes, he overcame that because he's Jon fucking Snow, but it's still, you know, it was fear. Q&A, can Bran see the past and present, or shit, it's doing that fucking thing again. Can Bran see the past and present, or can he see the future? He can see it all three of those, past, present, and the future. If I were to taking a guess here, I think his future predictions aren't set in stone and aren't clear, but the past ones, those have already been written and the ink's dry. He can I'm sure that won't stop him from trying to manipulate the past. Just Chris says Con of Thrones 2018. Yeah, bro. Dallas, Texas. It is definitely going down. And actually, if you haven't bought your tickets for Con of Thrones yet, you can use the coupon code you can use the coupon code Sir Hunts for $5 off. And I think it's every 5 people that use that code, I'll get a pair of free tickets, which will also be given away on the channel. Now that's not until May, so that's going to be coming up. You know, we'll probably start super slamming and spamming the my videos and stuff like that about Con of Thrones when we get a little bit closer. Once they start announcing who the guests are going to be, I'm sure people will start buying tickets in droves then. Like, they haven't even announced the panels or any of the guests. So I think that's probably why, you know, I've seen a few people comment and say like, hey, do you know, and I always have the link listed in the link below, but I'm pretty sure once they announce those first guests, you know, who the celebrities are going to be from the TV show, I'm sure that's when the ticket sales are going to go through the roof. I know me personally, I waited to buy mine until I saw who was going to be, who was coming on from the TV show. Marco Minko says, the only time a man can be brave is when he's afraid. I love that saying. I can't remember, I saw that in a movie somewhere. I don't know if you got that from a movie, but I saw that from a movie. It was really good. I love that. Also, Casey Neistat has said that in one of his videos before. Shout out Casey Neistat. Probably him and Philip DeFranco and a few others are my favorite creators here on YouTube. I actually started watching PewDiePie recently. I saw him do a You Laugh, You Lose challenge video the other day, and it was actually fucking hilarious. I love dank memes. I watch a lot of the time if I'm on YouTube, not making a video or anything like that, I'll be watching dank memes. Sometimes I post them here. Like, if I find a really funny one that's Game of Thrones related, I'll try to repost it here. Q&A, can we get a prediction on the first major character death in Season 8? I'm thinking... Throws dart at pictures of characters. Theon saving Yara. See, I don't think Theon's gonna die. I think Theon has suffered so much he's gonna be left alive. But a major death prediction? This might be copping out here, but I'm gonna say... Dolorous Ed. I think Dolorous Ed is going to be one of the first ones taken out next season, because I'm pretty sure the Night King is going to march on Castle Black next, and that's when we'll see him die. As far as Theon dying saving Yara, I think Yara will die. Theon trying to save her. I want to see Theon live. Hang on one second. Hang on one second. I probably didn't even have to say that. I could have just walked away. What's going on? Alright, sorry about that. Helen says, Sir Hans, no flattery, but you're my favorite Game of Thrones YouTuber. Thank you. Thank you very much. I saw a this is funny on Thrones Amino. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but if you aren't, go download that app and hop on there, make an account. Come follow us on there. It's a really big, nice Game of Thrones community. Like, you can just, you know, post theories and talk about other things. There's like quizzes and stuff. You just basically chat with people that are, you know, as big as fans of the show. And that's like what it was with Con of Thrones for me. Is like, that was why Con of Thrones was so fun, is because not only was it like, oh, I got to do panels, people had to ask for my autograph, which was fucking insane because I felt like a celebrity, you know what I mean? But it was also, the best part of it was just hanging out with other people who were as big as Game of Thrones fans as me. And I still know that sounds cheesy and cliche as fuck, but it's the truth, because no one that I hang out with in my life is a big fan of Game of Thrones. So it's like, I don't have anyone to talk to about it, which is part of the reason why I started a channel. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I can jump online and go and share my thoughts and talk with other people who are insane fans just like I am. So that's the biggest thing with things like Con of Thrones and in the Thrones Amino app, is that it actually gives you that chance to go and talk with like-minded people. And I don't know if you guys are similar with me, but I barely have hardly anyone I can think of 3 people that I talk to that watch Game of Thrones, and they are nowhere near the level of fanatics that I am. So it's like I'm either explaining stuff to them or trying to talk with them about the show, but they don't even know all the characters' names, so they can't even keep up with me. You know what I mean? So it's like that. But when you go to places like Con of Thrones, or when you go to the Thrones Amino app, it's like these people that speak your language. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty cool. Alex says, I still want your autograph. We can arrange that, I'm sure. Helen says, what's the name of the app again? It's called Thrones Amino. So Thrones, like Game of Thrones, and then Amino, AMINO. Yeah, it's the one, the English one, unless you speak Spanish. But it's got like a purple icon and like golden letters, and it says Thrones. But yeah, go follow me on there. It's Sir Hunts on the app. Let's take a few more questions, and then we'll be jumping out of here. We rocked for about an hour. I know it's been an hour and 12 minutes so far, but really it was only about an hour because the first 15 minutes was me bitching and complaining and then waiting for more people to show up. But yeah, so this one is from, let's see, Q&A. Do you think we will see Arya riding Nymeria and leading her wolf pack into the Great War? Like, is there enough budget for direwolves? And there's enough budget for anything. 15 million per episode is what the increased budget is rumored to be for this next season. So with 15 million per episode, 6 episodes total, that's $90 million. There's no reason in hell why they can't afford to put every little extra CG department. There's no reason why they can't afford to do that. Now, as far as Arya riding Nymeria into war, probably not. I do think they showed Nymeria for a reason. I hope it's to show her bring back up. But I think if anything, she'd show up at the last seconds when she sensed Arya's life was near ending. And then once she sensed that, that's when she'll shows up. Like, you remember with Daenerys in the Pits of Daznak, Dany was like 3 feet away from death before Drogon decided to show up. And it was almost like a subconscious thing. Like, Dany summoned him and wasn't even aware that she did it. So, you know, that's happened a few times with Ghost and Jon, and that will most likely will be what's going to happen with Arya and Nymeria. Do you think we were going to get to see a female White Walker? Probably not. Main reason being is because they don't procreate. Now, if we'll see a female white, yes, we've seen those before, but a White Walker, probably not. They have to be male. They have to come from Craster's lineage, rather. And, you know, because of that, they obviously they have to be male for that. Sorry, I don't know where I was getting at. But yeah, so no, I think all White Walkers are male. Reason being is because all of them, other than the Night King himself, is, a son of Craster. Now, what would be kind of cool, and kind of a little bit weird at the same time, is like, what if the White Walkers can do the same thing that the dragons do? So, you know how dragons don't need another female dragon or just another dragon in general to procreate? What if the White Walkers can do that too? What if they can switch their genders? So it's like, you know, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that one. But yeah, we'll take a few more questions. Let's see if I missed any Q&As. Looking for another question. I don't see any though. Yes, Thrones Amino is the talk with other fans app. Transgender White Walkers. Yes. Alright, well, so if there are no more questions, I want to thank you all so much for rocking with me. Thank you all so much for hanging out. If you could please slap a like on this video, subscribe, go ahead and turn notifications on so that way you get alerted every single time I drop Game of Thrones content throughout this off season. You know, I want to recommend my Patreon. If any of you are watching and you're thinking about it, it's a great way to show some support to some of the creators that you like. You know, there's many different reward tiers that we offer, and it can go anywhere from $1 all the way up to $30. But yeah, if you're up to it, please go check that out. You know, that really helps out a lot. The like goal for this video will be, let's see if we can hit 150. If you want to be entered into my contest for once we finally reach 30k subscribers here on YouTube, all you have to do to enter that contest is like this video, leave a comment down below, subscribe to me here on YouTube, and then hop on Twitter and follow me. My name's Mark, and I want to thank you all so much for watching. This has been Sir Hunt's Reviews.